Thanks, Sophie. Hello and good evening. Coming up on the programme. Catapults being used as dangerous weapons and to inflict harm on animals. There are calls for tougher restrictions on their sale and possession.
Every single one of these animals is vulnerable to being maimed, badly injured, orphaned or killed.
We have a special report for you, also tonight. Bright, inquisitive and full of life, a teacher's tribute to Marcus Fakana, who died in a crash after recently being freed from Dubai. Plus, celebrating 60 years on the capital's skyline. We'll be at the top of the BT Tower. And
look at that light show. Thank you, the River Thames.
how this guy's early morning rides in London in his pink hat have gone viral. I'll chat to him and find out why. A very warm welcome to you. We start tonight with a BBC investigation revealing the extent of the horrific injuries on pets, wildlife and people from catapult attacks. Whilst they can be used legitimately by anglers, for example, campaigners in the capital are calling for tougher restrictions on the sale and possession of catapults in public after some attacks were filmed and shared online. Police say they're doing all they can to bring those responsible to justice. And I should warn you that Ben Moore's report contains some distressing content.
This is what your kids are doing to wildlife.
There's a deadly weapon on our streets that's easy to get hold of and legal to own.
You've got what looks like a catapult.
You had a catapult.
Catapult.
And they shot me with a catapult.
It's a beautiful park. It's just like a little oasis that every single one of these animals is vulnerable to being maimed, badly injured, orphaned or killed.
These Victorian pleasure gardens on the outskirts of London are often modern-day hunting grounds.
We are frequently called out to this park to rescue animals that have been horrifically injured by catapults. They're causing tremendous suffering that is prolonged over days, sometimes weeks.
A team of volunteer rangers patrol the park, picking up the pieces and bodies following attacks.
So as I'm walking up, I clearly saw the bird just caught in some of the trees. So confirmed catapult to the top of the head.
It's now getting to the point where ordinary park goers are witnessing horrific attacks.
Do you know how it died?
Possible catapult. There's no words. I've done it so many times now. Sometimes I feel, is it worth coming down here? But I do.
What is it you want to see happen?
But we think that the laws that are in place currently are not adequate. So what we'd like to see is stricter regulations about who can purchase one, age verification.
Anyone in here, make yourself known!
Rural crime teams across the UK are busy.
So catapult.
But the police are not just fighting catapult crime on the streets.
It's generally groups of youths with catapults that are just targeting anything to kill, and they're sharing those pictures and videos of themselves doing this on social media.
The major social media platforms say they don't allow posts featuring animal abuse and ban accounts that are in violation.
We've had multiple reports of kids firing at birds in the trees.
In the UK, all wild birds are protected, but there's no one law covering the misuse of catapults. Instead, police use a combination of offensive weapon laws and those protecting wildlife to deal with offenders. Do you need more powers?
I would certainly welcome more powers.
If someone was badly injured, that would be a serious situation, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You're talking potentially murder.
Some groups who use catapults in their sports, such as target shooters and anglers, don't want to see restrictive regulations.
It is a problem, and it's an elephant in the room. They're impossible to ban, but education, I think, is the main thing. Let's try some better youth engagement, because this seems to work better than a big stick.
Save our wildlife, stop the catapults.
The government says it will keep reviewing the law to make sure the public are protected. Meanwhile, police say they're determined to combat this antisocial behaviour and will take a hard line against offenders.
We are seeing little to no repercussions, no matter how many reports we make. Things cannot go on like this. This is a crime wave that is being ignored.
Ben Moore, BBC London.
And you can watch more on Catapult Crime Killing for Fun, which is available on BBC iPlayer now. You're with BBC London. Lots more ahead this Wednesday, including...
Join me for the best views in London, arguably better than the London Eye, better than the Shard. I am up the BT Tower, exactly 60 years after it was first inaugurated.
Bright, inquisitive and full of life, the words of a London school teacher paying tribute to Marcus Fakana, who died in a car crash just 3 months after being released from prison in Dubai after a royal pardon. The 19-year-old was a passenger in a vehicle that crashed in Tottenham in the early hours of last week. Greg Mackenzie has been speaking to his former teacher.
Marcus Fakana was a much-loved student during his time studying for his GCSEs at Gladesmore Community School in Tottenham. His former teacher says he has fond memories of a young man who was bright, inquisitive and full of life.
I mean, very respectful. I just remember him in the class, and it was a very charismatic class. He wasn't the loudest person in the room. But he was paying attention. I could see him looking up, making notes. But what I really remember is him being really respectful, being attentive. And yeah, I kind of looked at him and thought, okay, this boy is going to go far. I don't quite know what he wants to do, but in terms of his attitude, it seemed like he came from good family.
Marcus, who was 19, was a passenger in the vehicle that crashed in Tottenham in the early hours of last Friday morning. He later died in hospital from his injuries. The Metropolitan Police say officers had attempted to stop a car. It was later found having collided with another vehicle. The driver was arrested and has since been charged with death by dangerous driving, driving with no insurance and failing to stop.
Oh, I mean, shocked. This is... we were all getting over the fact of what happened in Dubai and the fact that he was back. That was a huge relief. And then, yeah, a couple of months. And then I'm kind of seeing things dotted around social media. Friends are contacting me knowing that I'd worked with him in the past. I haven't processed it, to be really honest. But obviously, I can't imagine what his family are going through. I really hope they have the support they need and the respect that they need at this time.
Marcus's death comes 3 months to the day after he returned to the UK following his release from jail in Dubai. He had been sentenced to 1 year in prison there after admitting to having consensual sex with a 17-year-old girl, something that is legal in the UK but not in the United Arab Emirates, where both were on holiday. His family had called on the UK government to intervene, and 6 months into his sentence, Marcus was granted a royal pardon by the authorities in Dubai. Today, his former teacher says he remembers a boy who was talented, ambitious and determined to make something of himself.
Just really sad. I know, just coming from Tottenham as well, that this is a huge loss for the community, and really has reverberated around the nation, to be honest. I think a lot of people, if you have a son, if you've lost someone, this is something that you'll absolutely understand and connect with.
Greg Mackenzie, BBC London.
A roundup now of some of the other news stories in the capital. 5 men have been given life sentences for murdering a Greek tourist who they followed from a West End club and stabbed during a robbery. 26-year-old Antonis Antoniadis was targeted and followed in central London in July last year. One person has been taken to hospital after a bus crashed into a taxi and then a building in central London. It happened yesterday lunchtime, not far from the Cabinet Office, where Great Peter Street meets Marsham Street. The London Fire Brigade also attended to assess the safety of the building. Police have interviewed a woman under caution after video circulated online showing a woman removing ribbons remembering the hostages from the 7th of October attacks from fence poles in Muswell Hill. Officers said a 36-year-old voluntarily attended a police station yesterday. And a new glass-walled tall building is set to join the skyscraper cluster in the Square Mile after it was approved by the City of London Corporation. The current vacant office block at 130 Fenchurch Street will be demolished to make way for 2 new towers. Now, it's an issue we hear a lot about, housing disrepair in the capital, and you've shared your experiences with us too. Well, an investigation into Lewisham Council has revealed widespread failings over how it manages housing repairs and complaints related to leaks, damp and mould. The council says it's taking decisive steps to address the issues. Nikki Ford has more.
This was Melissa's flat, which she shares with her 2 children, filmed in July last year. A mouse infestation with damp and mould. She told us then it was bad.
I feel like I'm living in a horror film. They've ruined my life.
We returned today, where she told us things had got worse.
It's very stuffy, so we can't sleep there because the mould is very strong in here and the damp. Once we lie down, we are breathing it in, and it's on my nose, in my nostril. You can feel it in there. Sometimes it cleaves to the roof of my mouth or on my tongue.
This is temporary accommodation provided by Lewisham Council. They've offered her alternative properties, but for now, this is the reality.
Right now, I'm unwell. I don't have a flu. It's just a dry cough because of the damp, sleepless nights.
She's not alone. The report by the Housing Ombudsman identified widespread failings in Lewisham Council's accommodation, including the management of damp, mould and leaks, to the extent that 92% of cases they looked at between July and October last year found the council had handled an issue poorly.
It's very clear that some people have been living in really poor standard of accommodation for a significant period of time. I think one of the really striking things about this landlord is that it has a high proportion of homes which are in poor condition compared to other parts of London. Roughly about 1 in 4 homes don't meet the basic standards required.
The report also identified a poor culture within the housing department, reflected in the tone of correspondence, a failure to prioritise repairs or communicate what was going on. The Ombudsman also pointed out the challenge for the council is to raise the funds to meet the cost of the repairs whilst also meeting the needs of the residents. In a statement, Lewisham Council said, "The Ombudsman's report highlights serious failings and their impact on residents, which we fully acknowledge. I am glad, however, that the Ombudsman recognises that we've improved since the cases it examined, which are over a year old." They went on to say they've cleared the most serious hazards from 80% of their homes and strengthened repair management. The council says rebuilding trust takes time and effort. Residents will hope the findings will make a difference. Nikki Ford, BBC London.
Still to come before the end of the programme.
Look at that light show. Thank you, the River Thames.
Capturing the capital on early morning rides, the East London filmmaker whose videos have gone viral. I'll chat to him shortly. Next, though, award-winning playwright and actor Ryan Calais Cameron has his heart set on making theatre for everyone, especially where he comes from in South East London. And young creatives in Lewisham have been given a grant to bring their work to the stage, showcasing at the Scene Festival this week to celebrate local talent during Black History Month. Alice Bandakravi went to Catford to find out more.
Pow! What you know about me?
His musicals and plays have been sell-out successes. For Black Boys was credited with bringing the new audiences the West End so desperately craves. And now playwright Ryan Calais Cameron is trying to help the future creatives of Catford, where he grew up.
It's a people in an area that often get overlooked. And for me, it was about going, I'm from this area and I know there's so much talent and culture and life in this area. We want to give it this incredible stage here, you know? So that's what we're doing over the space of 10 days. We're putting on some of the best, incredible, amazing talent that this area has to offer. And it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
7 local creatives at the beginning of their careers have been given a grant of £7,000 to bring their ideas to life. Demi is one of them, putting on her first play this Thursday.
I've had this idea for so many years, but I haven't had the confidence to bring the idea to fruition. And a programme like this has given me something to work towards, which has been invaluable for my artistic development. I've got my idea, but then I also have an entire team who are supporting me on the journey.
The Scene Festival will also bring in local caterers to showcase their talents and lots of local school children to open up their eyes to the possibilities.
I feel like art should be at the centre of every community, right? So we're starting from grassroots, and when I mean grassroots, I'm talking about 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. We have a whole entire day that is for youngsters who may or may not be artists in the future, but allowing them to be able to see that could be a clear pathway. Then we go into performances from dance, jazz, ballet, you know, we've got actors, we've got writers, we've got directors. So we're really trying to cater for the whole community in a sense.
It's a welcome boost for the Broadway Theatre, which has stood proudly in this diverse part of South London for nearly a century.
This is a really unique place where people come in and they feel at home. They get to see something that resonates with them on our stages, and definitely there's a huge sense of community here. It's much beloved, and we have lots and lots and lots of sellouts of global majority theatre here in Catford.
Ryan Kelly-Cameron is one of the biggest names in British theatre, and he hopes this festival will yield future stars from Lewisham too. Alice Bandukravi, BBC London in Catford.
To another storyteller now, an early morning one. My next guest is an East London filmmaker whose videos of his extremely early bike rides across our city, capturing stunning images and throwing in a bit of local history, have gone viral. He's only been doing it a few months. Here's a quick flavour.
You just sometimes get a little gift for getting up this early in the morning, and I would call it that. Wallop! Look at these colours. It is 4:48 in the morning and I am right below Monument. I'm on the original bit of road that went across the original London Bridge.
And I'm pleased to say John O'Verity joins me here. Do you like the way we've brought an early morning London skyline to make you feel at home? Let me ask you, what was the inspiration for this?
I just get up really, really early. I mean, I can't, it's my stupid brain. It makes me get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and so I just thought I'd capitalise on it.
I don't know how you do it. I do it for a Friday morning for a breakfast show, and that's like only one day. Do you always have a plan, or do you just go where the mood takes you?
No, quite often I do. I just head off into the city, because a lot of my films are about the history of the city, and I like to kind of just head off into the city, and then I'll see something and I think, oh, what is the story behind that? And I just do a bit of research and learn about the city.
And people are obviously loving this, you know, watching you, your pink cat, you know, going around London, but not many people get to experience London in this way.
It's amazing. I think it's London at its absolute best. Although I've had a huge success rate recently with I'll be up at some ungodly hour and I'll meet people and they'll literally say, I'm here because of you. So, and that's happened quite a few times now.
How does that feel?
Oh, it's amazing. It feels, because they're generally really happy that they're doing it. I've not really met anyone who's like, don't know why we did this. So, yeah.
And we know that London has a lot of shift workers. So who do you come across?
Yeah, so there are people fixing things, watering plants, that kind of thing. But then there are sometimes in some places where you just get it completely to yourself. I've cycled down Oxford Street for 2 minutes and not seen a single person.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, that of course that will shock quite a lot of people. What is that feeling like when you're there riding along at 4 a.m. or whatever time it is? What goes through your mind? What's the feeling?
I just think this makes me so happy. I love it. It's pretty much that simple. I love it.
I mean, I'm not sure you can, but what happens when you've exhausted London?
Well, I already did a trip to New York recently to go and make content for my channel, and that was amazing. It was really, really fun to go and do that and to witness New York without any people in it. So.
Now, I love that you have said, who would have thought a middle-aged guy with a pink hat banging on about the history of London would do so well?
I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it? I just would never have guessed that.
Yeah. Now, come on, I've got to ask you before I go, how many of those pink hats do you actually have?
Well, I'm trying to find the perfect pink hat. So I've actually got a lot. I feel like there's probably 15 of them kicking around at home, and I'm just trying to find the exact right pink. OK,
well, listen, lovely to speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us here, Jono. Best of luck on your travels. Keep us posted. Thanks. You. Well, talking of the London skyline, a landmark that was at one time the tallest building in the capital when it opened in 1965 was the Post Office Tower. And today, it's marking its 60th birthday. The BT Tower, of course, as it's now known, often helps celebrate significant moments or celebrations, lighting up with messages or symbols. And it's got quite a history, as Assad can tell us from the top of the tower.
There are so many facts I could tell you about the BT Tower. For instance, when it's really windy, it can sway by about 25 centimetres in any direction. But seeing that I'm over 170 metres up above ground level, let me just enjoy this view and show you the incredible view from this restaurant level of the BT Tower. You've got the City of London there, you've got the Shard, which is admittedly over 130 metres higher up than the BT Tower, but arguably this has got the best views because you're right in the heart of London. Also, the London Eye. Now, when you're on the London Eye, it of course goes round like a clock. When you're here on the restaurant of the BT Tower, you go round like a merry-go-round up in the sky. It is an incredible feat of engineering. Back in the early 60s when it was constructed, it was basically a concrete column just off Tottenham Court Road that was constructed to be at the centre of the BT Tower. Around the tower is glass, which is tinted so it doesn't get too hot here. And when it was created and opened by the Prime Minister back in 1965, exactly 60 years ago today, it was the tallest building in London. You could see it for miles around. Well, that has changed, but it still holds a very special place in Londoners' hearts. Another interesting fact about the BT Tower, which I find fascinating, is that until 1993, any information about the BT Tower was officially a secret, and you could be arrested for collecting information about the tower even though you could see it from right across London. That's Regent's Park over there. But some of the best things about the tower is being here on the restaurant level. To get to the 34th floor, you have to go in a lift which goes at an ear-popping 1,400 feet per minute. And then when you get here, it's the feature which has made the restaurant famous. It's a revolving restaurant, which means if you sit at a table, it'll take you about 23 minutes to get a full 360-degree view of London. And the mechanism which runs this is the original mechanism which was created 60 years ago.
Another slice of London history. I remember interviewing Seb Coe at the top of the tower ahead of the 2012 Olympics. OK, let's get a check on the weather with Kate, and you have got some pictures of last night's supermoon.
Yes, you had to be quick to see last night's supermoon. It was the harvest moon or the hunter's moon, and we had a few really good Weather Watchers pictures in. You can see it in all its glory. But like I said, it was fairly brief. If you saw it, it was early on in the evening as the cloud, as you can just about make out here, started to move across it. Now, that was actually a cold front, and that's been edging towards us all day. But if you missed it, don't worry, we've got another 2 supermoons coming up in relatively quick succession, actually. One on the 5th of November, the Beaver Moon, and one on the 4th of December, which is the Cold Moon. So let's hope for clear skies then. Now, this is the cold front which brought all that pesky cloud. It's been moving across us all day today. It's still been rather cloudy, but we had 1 or 2 breaks towards the end of the day. You can see here just glimpses of blue sky. And as we head through this evening, we should start to see that that cold front moving a little bit further south and the cloud slowly but surely disappearing. Now, as the name suggests, it is a cold front. It's going to take the cloud away, but replace it with some colder air. So yes, we've got clear skies. I mean, the moon is still going to be quite big tonight, not quite full, but still quite big. But the temperature will drop under those clear skies. 6 or 7 Celsius, the minimum, so much chillier than it has been. Could see some mist and fog as well. Now, that will lift in the morning. Some bright, some sunny spells to start the day on Thursday. High pressure still in charge, so still fairly settled. But around that high pressure, we've got loads of cloud. And that's what we're doing really for the rest of this week, chasing the cloud around. Now, it should be dry. Temperatures tomorrow, not too bad. Wind still light. We're looking at 18 Celsius. And we've got similar conditions as we head into Friday as well. The high pressure edges a little bit closer towards us, but again, around the outside of it, that cloud is moving in. So Friday, it is looking largely cloudy, I'm afraid. Just 1 or 2 hints of something brighter, but it's still dry, the wind's still light, and temperatures still remain similar, with a maximum of around 18 Celsius once again. Now, as we head towards the weekend, we're still under the influence of the high pressure, but the good news is a bit of a wind direction change, which is coming from the east. It will start to break the cloud up. So hopefully we'll see a little more sunshine. Riz.
Sounds good. Kate, thank you so much. And that's it. So thanks for being with us. By the way, on our Instagram, you can see more great images of a brief history of the BT Tower, which, as we've just heard, is 60 years old today. From me and the team, whatever you're up to, maybe Celebrity Traitors, which starts tonight, do enjoy your Wednesday evening. Bye-bye.